I've just finished the new Critical Role adventure called the Netherdeep, and while I haven't run a session yet, I can at least tell you whether it's worth buying to either run or harvest for parts in your own campaigns. And in this video, I'm going to break Call of the Netherdeep down into 4 parts that make it worth buying. So if these parts sound appealing, you can go and pick up this adventure. I will not be spoiling any of the story so far, as I will only be talking about information that is already released. So at least if there are spoilers, there will be nothing major. All those twists and turns will remain inside the story. Firstly, Netherdeep's villain is the highlight of the campaign. They are well written, heartfelt, and sympathetic. My personal perspective is that a campaign is only as good as its villain, and this villain is up there. Better yet, I think you can take this villain, or at least their motivation in their backstory, pick them up and drop them into your own campaign world. They can even be like a quest villain instead of a full adventure villain. The time frame can certainly be scaled up or down. And honestly, I truly think that the ending of this adventure is top notch. The build up in the story is great, and the narrative catharsis that the ending of this book can provide is just, I think, going to be immaculate. Really, I'd pick up this book for the villain alone. One day, we might think of Call of the Netherdeep's villain as one of the best in any pre-written 5th edition adventure. I truly think that they rival Strahd or Zariel for 5th edition's best. Now again, this is just my personal opinion, but this villain just hit all the right notes for me. They are so far a 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10 villain in my book. One of the things that make Call of the Netherdeep unique in 5th edition is that they introduce a rival party. And this rival party is not just some little gimmick, they are integral to the story. This adventure is partially just designed around them. And man, it is a well-designed system that can be ported into other campaigns as well. And one of the things I loved most about this rival party is that they have different options depending on how you interact with them. The adventure goes out of their way to really make this feel like a living, breathing group of people. They have generally 3 states: friendly towards your party, neutral towards your party, or hostile towards your party. The rivals' actions are then based off of how they view your own party. The adventure takes your own role-playing into account, and honestly, that is just great. On top of this, I just found the crew genuinely interesting. This 5-member band has 5 3-dimensional, fully realized and fleshed out characters, and I can easily see myself taking members of the crew and putting them into my own campaigns. They are also a highlight of Call of the Netherdeep, and something that I think the designers should be genuinely proud of. No 5th edition has really done something like this before, or at least not to the level that Call of the Netherdeep set out to do and accomplished. This is one of the best campaign openings I have ever seen. Without too many spoilers, you start at a festival where the party can just play games, and these games ooze flavor and atmosphere, while also being a great way to show off your character and how they act with the world and the rest of the party. Then, you combine together for a final festival game. And it is here where the adventure truly begins, and it is a very natural progression. It's well thought out, eases players through the opening and into the actual adventure, and doesn't make assumptions on what the party will choose. All I can say is that the start is extremely natural. If you don't want to have the typical I start in a tavern beginning to a campaign, just go and rip this off. I will probably use this opening almost verbatim in my next session 1. Because again, you can take this particular opening and use it for so many campaign types. This adventure comes packed with some great magic items. There is a central artifact which the adventure is based around, which can be taken into other campaigns, and I think the design of this artifact too can be taken and morphed. I won't go into too much detail about what this artifact is, but I will say it's central to the campaign, and its design I think is perfect for leading you through the story. You could use a similar artifact to help give players a reason to move through the world, as while it is a magic item, it is the engine of the story as well. But it never enters the MacGuffin territory, which for me is important. Call of the Netherdeep also introduces 2 specific types of magic items. One type, which I can't really get into, is wildly cool. It's not really a group of magic items as it is a magic item type, and this type can be applied to many other magic weapons to increase their power. However, this also brings along a curse, and I can easily see DMs being able to take this general formula and putting it into their own campaigns. Maybe your antagonist is corrupting their own minions' weapons with a system sort of like this. Basically, the mechanics are already written and easily able to be taken into your own sessions, and also gives the players a choice as well. Use the more powerful magic item, or play it safe and don't risk the curse. But now let's get into the second type of magic items, and these are called Medals of Merit. I don't consider this a spoiler because they appear at the very beginning of the first chapter, so, deal with it. These are one-use, common magical items in the shape of medals. You can award these medals to player characters, and in times of need, they can use these medals to give themselves a boost. And as a DM, when I was reading about these, I was thinking two things. One, I can make so many more Medals of Merit. Heck, I can make these in all types of rarities. The possibilities are limitless. And two, when I was reading about them, I thought I can use these as supplements for gold rewards. Not only are they showing prestige, but they're a magic item as well. At a certain level, gold stops being an effective resource for players because they have just so much of it. But you also don't want to overload your party with magic items. These one-offs are a perfect solution. They can give powerful magical effects depending on what you give and potentially coming up with new rarities and types, while also not just power creeping the campaign to these insane levels. And it's for that reason that I think that the players will also get a kick out of these medals. They are magic items that they can actually use, have tangible role-playing effects, and are just more tangible than gold. So, while technically Call of the Netherdeep doesn't have pages and pages of magical items, it lays a foundation for you to make so many types of magical items with the design that is already there. Now, if you've stuck around this far, here's a bonus reason to buy this book: replayability. Call of the Netherdeep has so many branching paths. 5 parties will not play the exact adventure twice. Y'all, if I'm a DM trying to run many sessions in a week, which I am, I'd point to Call of the Netherdeep as the one I might choose. There is just so much variety in this book. Of course, I haven't run it yet, but with everything within, I've got a good feeling on its replayability. It feels a bit like Waterdeep Dragon Heist in this way, and if you know anything about that adventure, Matt Mercer consulted on that. So if you liked the branching paths in that adventure, Call of the Netherdeep works in a very similar way. And I'll just say this, Waterdeep Dragon Heist is usually regarded as a very good adventure. However, take this replayability reason with a grain of salt. But hey, if you want to learn how to make your own games more replayable, check out this video right here, and thank you for entering the dungeon.